welcome to stampingcatcrew.com. Today we're going to make this really cute masculine suit card. It stands as a fold just like this, and the inside says wishing you a dapper day. So these two sentiments actually come from the Truly Tailored stamp set. It's in the 2018 catalog. It is actually a bundle with this super cute, I'm not even sure what you'd call this one, but it's a punch for all of these really cute sentiments. And what I did is I actually used half of it to make the pocket for the card. So I'm going to show you a couple things that we did with that. Let's set this aside. It's our one that we started with. So we have our base here. And the paper is from that same suite of products for the Truly Tailored. It's the masculine suite of paper, and I just loved the little plaid look here and did some things together. I've already stamped the inside of my base envelope, and I have some of my components done. So I did crumb cake for what would be this part right here. And then we have some other elements. I'm going to grab my paper cutter. Got the paper cutter right here. And one of the things that I did use for the paper cutter, couple things. So first I knew where I wanted my little coat to overlap and kind of how things would look doing that. And I think it's going to set just like this. So I trimmed the paper. Our original cut was, this would be it, at about 2.5. And so yours is really, it's going to be about that much, and that allows for a little overlapping. Because of the way the pattern fell, I wanted to be able to put the buttons in a particular place and have the patterns end on the solid blue here, and where they overlapped, I wanted to have that blue line. So when you have a 12 by 12 sheet of paper like this, and I'm cutting it at 2.5, and then I'm going to turn it sideways, and I know that my inside is going to be that 5 1/4. That's going to give me those two sheets, and then I can kind of play with where I want those two things to set. So basically, you won't always have to think that through, because a lot of the papers that you use may not have that same kind of repeating pattern where you need to worry about that. But if it does, just give it a little thought, and you can always play with stuff as it goes. The score line that I did, I went from this third yellow stripe, which is basically about 2.5 inches. So if I turned it this way and I measured, it's going to end up about 2.5 inches, and to about 1 1/4, which is right here. So basically, if I'm measuring about 1 1/4 inches in, that's going to leave me right about here. And then we know we want to go down about 2.5 inches, which is about here. So what I want to do is have my score line go from right here to just about that third yellow stripe. And be careful, I always leave my cutting blade and my scoring blade on at the same time. So you always be careful about what you're actually using. So that's the score line, and that's going to fold in just like that and give us that fold for our little suit coat. We're going to do the same thing. So if we know we want to have 1 1/4 going in this direction, and I can put a little mark, it's right at the end of that blue, and we know we're going 3 steps down right here. So we're going to go from right about there. So the 2.5 to the 1 1/4 at a diagonal, and we're going to fold that over just like that. So this is going to be your suit jacket like that, and that's basically what I do for the measuring. So one of the things I didn't want to have show is these little glasses. So I had some scrap cardstock, and what I'm going to do is simply take my snail adhesive and I'm going to add some snail adhesive right there, And all we want to do is cover up the part that is going to be showing as a flap on the suit jacket. So this is going to make sense in just a minute. So I've covered up the sunglasses part, right? The little glasses part. So if I flip this over and I grab my paper snips, I can cut right along here. And I don't know, for those of you that remember that when we did the tuxedo coat, we had to do exactly the same thing. And we made some, I believe they were black lapels on that. But there is a YouTube tutorial, and that shows actually how to do a ruffled shirt front as well, which is kind of fun. So that's going to give us our solid cardstock color right here. So I'm going to turn this over. I'm going to do exactly the same thing. That gives us what we need right there. The other thing that I did is I used some of the ribbon, and this is in the same suite. It's the corduroy ribbon. It's actually in a Night of Navy color and lots of fun. I used sticky strip because I knew that I wanted it to hold down really well. And so you're going to see what I did is I started with a little bit on the back, and then I wrapped it right around the front along the edge of the lapel. And then I'm going to trim a little bit right here. And then you'll see what we're going to do on the other side, because I also tucked a little bit around underneath. So we're going to take this off. I'm going to put it right along the edge right there. And we know this is flipping over around, and we want to run it right along the edge like that. So we have our ribbon here, and then we know that we want to not have some ends fraying. And so what I did is I left a little tail hanging out on the back here, and you can see that right here. I added some of our tear and tape, and when we put that down, it's going to fold around just like that. So both ends are now not going to fray. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a little mini dimensional on the back. It holds our little suit coat open, and also gives you some depth in the image when you're actually looking at it. So we're going to do the same for the other side. I'll fast forward through it so that you don't have to watch the same process. And there you have both the fronts of the suit coat, just like that. And I've taken a strip of the blue corduroy ribbon also and tied a little knot at the top. I trimmed off the edge and put a little glue dot inside, and basically this is going to form my tie for the suit coat. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little bit of sticky strip, and I'm just going to gauge need the tie very long. So if we add some sticky strip right here, basically what I want to have happen is have the ends folded up like a tie. And so that means having both of those come in. Trim a little piece off. And just like that. And it's going to be hidden by the shirt, so not such an important detail, but one of the ones I did was shorter, so I wanted to show you that option also, and also in case it wasn't covered. So it ends up being a super cute little tie. And so we're going to start putting down our layers. We use our snail adhesive. And I do like to go around all four corners. check the sentiment inside. You have no idea how many times I've done a card upside down. You kind of learn after a while. I'm going to do the same thing for our suit here. So we know that this side is going over here. And it's going to be right along the edge here. So one of the things that I want you to not forget is we have our tie that we want to have tucked inside. So I'm going to grab a glue dot right here so we can get him centered where we want the tie. And that looks about centered there. We'll add some adhesive to this side. And run that right along the edge here. The buttons that I used are actually part of the same suite. It's called True Gentleman Buttons, and there are lots of different patterns. So this is one of them. This is one of them. And then there were some tiny little ones. So I knew I was using crumb cake paper to offset, so I chose to use these that look like more of a crumb cake color. But there's some really fun masculine buttons in that set. I'm going to grab a couple glue dots. We're going to set those right on that center line. So the last detail that I did was the pocket, and I'm actually going to show you how I did the little ruffled oh, pardon me, I am drawing a blank. I did the ruffled, handkerchief. Thank you. I'm going to take, this is the mini chevron crushed curry ribbon. It is a good match for the little pinstripes right here that run through the suit. And I'm going to turn that over. So we know we don't want to have edges frayed and hanging out. So we are doing something like this. And then you can see we are bunching and gathering to give it that handkerchief look on the inside. And if I flip that over, what I want to do is have this still be available to attach down. So I'm going to take another section of sticky strip and I'm going to put it directly across the bottom right there where I created those little ruffles to help hold that down. And because you have it sticky stripped all the way across, you're going to be fine. And that's it right there for the pocket. And one thing I did forget, I decided to make a blue shirt. So you can leave it this way as it was, or one of the things that I did, if I lift up this glue dot, I'm going to show you an easy way. I had a square piece that I just cut into a triangle right here. And don't laugh, because this is exactly what I did the first time, is I wasn't thinking about wanting to put it and add it in. So I actually used some marks with my finger to get that exactly the way that I wanted it so that it would fit down inside. because my motto is everything is fixable. Voila, we now have a blue shirt. So lots of fun things you can do and play with and change. It could have just as easily been a crushed curry shirt. So this is the card that we just did. This is the one that we started with. And I hope you can do something fun with it. Make it even better, play with it, make it yours. One of the immensely fun things about this time of year is having the Occasions catalog, but also anything you order from the regular catalog. With every $50 purchase, you actually get a free item from the Celebration catalog, which is amazing. They have designer serious paper, they have ribbon, there are memories and more card packs, stamp sets, obviously. This time there's even die cuts. So have some fun, be creative, and that's it. Happy creating.